Hi there, welcome to February favorites. As always, I have both beauty and lifestyle products to share with you this month. I do apologize, this video is a little bit late in coming. As you know, we have a lot going on in our family right now, and it's just become a little bit hard for me to film on a really regular basis, so you may see kind of what you've seen in the last few weeks where I put up several videos last week, and then this week it's only going to be one, and I'm afraid for a while at least it's just going to have to be that way. I film when I have the opportunity because I do have to set aside kind of a chunk of time to do it so I can get the video filmed and then I can edit it and get it posted and all of that. So it's just unfortunately going to be a little bit unpredictable and intermittent, but I do thank you so much for coming back and watching. So let me go ahead and just get started with my beauty favorites. I have just 4 of them to share with you, but things that I was really wild about this month. It was a really great month for me for new products. So the first thing that I want to talk to you about is a new facial wash that I am really crazy about right now. So I talked to you about the Clinique Mild Liquid Facial Soap and how much I really love that. And that hasn't changed. However, when I was using it, I started noticing that I was going through it really quickly, and that kind of bothered me a little bit because I thought I am going to have to replace this often, and it's a little bit more expensive than what I would typically spend for a face wash. So I decided at that point in time I wanted to find something that was going to be similar but a little bit less expensive. So I tried something that was new to me and I've been wowed by it. This is the Cetaphil Daily Facial Cleanser. And I do want to emphasize this is the Daily Facial Cleanser because I think one of their most popular cleansers is their Gentle Skin Cleanser. So this one is the Daily Facial Cleanser, and it is just still a very straightforward liquid clear gel cleanser. It does have a little bit of fragrance to it. That doesn't bother me, but I do think it is a little bit strong. It's not something that I notice once it's rinsed off of my skin, but for those of you who are fragrance sensitive, it might be a little bit over the top. What I love about this is that it has just kept my skin so very balanced. There's really nothing fancy about it. It's a pretty straightforward cleanser, but it has just kept my skin so normal, much more than anything else I've used, including that Cetaphil cleanser. So I've tried different things over the years. I've been a really big fan of CeraVe. I've been a fan of Clinique, Purity from Philosophy, and this one has probably got to be my favorite so far. Now the only thing that I don't like about it is that I'm not able to use it with my Sonic cleansing brush. It just doesn't have quite enough thickness for that. But for my morning cleanser or when I'm not wearing makeup or I've already removed my makeup, this is fantastic. I love it so much, and I'm just very surprised. I thought that it was probably going to cause my skin to be a little bit dry, but it doesn't, and it says removes excess oil without drying, and I would totally agree with that. It doesn't leave behind any kind of residue on my skin, and my skin just feels so nice and normal. So I really can't say enough good things about that, and I do love the price. I am almost out of this, so I'm going to replace it with the bigger pump size. This is 8 ounces, and I think there's one that might be 12 or 16 ounces, so that will be my replacement. Okay, another skincare product that I was looking forward to sharing with you. I had seen, gosh, where was I? I might actually have been in my grocery store. I saw this large tub of CeraVe Healing Ointment, and I thought, well, that's not something I've seen before, but I really didn't want to invest in a large tub size. So I went on the hunt for a smaller size, and I found this at Walmart. So this is a little baby. This is a 0.35 ounce size, and let me actually show you the packaging this comes in so you will know it if you see it. I think I ended up finding this with the other CeraVe products in the lotion aisle. So this is what it looks like when it's in the packaging. This will be very similar to you if you are an Aquifer user. The one thing that I noticed about this is while they do work very similarly, this seemed to absorb into the skin a little bit more easily. Now with Aquifer, I always kind of noticed that that greasiness from it would stay on my skin, and this does have a very similar texture, except when you really rub this into your skin, it does disappear a little bit for me. So where I have been using this primarily is on the end of my nose and the tops of my lips, actually all of my lips, but I'm focusing it right here on the top. I have very bad allergies, and we are also experiencing a lot drier weather than we typically have here, so that area on my face gets very dried out, and the tip of my nose is always peeling from me wiping it and blowing it all the time. So this was a really nice surprise for me. I've been enjoying it very much. It does a great job. I would say it works better than the Aquifer does, and I'm not sure why that is. The ingredients don't seem to be anything too spectacular. It is 46% petrolatum, so that is something that you should know if you are averse to those kinds of products. But it's working really well for me. I will apply it once a day if I can remember, or every other day, and I've not noticed any more peeling on my nose. So this is something that I will go back and get a larger size of. There is this little size, there's also a larger tube, and then there is a jar that was somewhat similar to this, maybe not quite as many ounces, but similar in size to that. So really like that and wanted to talk to you about it. The next thing, gosh, I didn't realize I had so many skin products, but I do have another skincare product, but this is a shower product. So I am completely new to the concept of in-shower lotions. This is the Nivea In-Shower Body Lotion. This is the dry skin version with shea butter. Wow, is this stuff nice. So I have been just a typical body lotion user, someone that would apply the lotion after the shower. And this makes applying your lotion really convenient because you do it when you're still in the shower. What I like about this is because you're already using it there and you're rinsing it off, you don't have any time that you have to wait to put your clothes on or anything like that. Lately, I had really been enjoying the Aveeno Sheer Hydration Lotion, but I found that through January and February, my skin was quite a bit drier, mostly on my legs and my shins. They were getting so dried out and itchy, so I knew I wanted something a little bit more hydrating, but I didn't really want a thick, greasy lotion. So I saw this at the store. I decided to give it a try. There is one for even drier skin, but I felt like this would probably do a good job for me, and it does. It's very easy to use, so you just cleanse your skin as you normally would. Then you pop this open here at the bottom, squeeze a little bit out onto your hand, rub it into your arms, legs, wherever you would normally apply your body lotion. Then you just rinse it off and towel dry as normal. But my skin has stayed so much nicer, more nicely hydrated and soft, and I don't have that kind of scratchy, peely skin that I had before, so I love it. It smells really good too. Another really big endorsement I can give this product is that my husband specifically requested that I pick up more of this. He liked it so much. He usually likes to use some sort of body lotion, but he also liked the convenience of this, and we both like the smell of it, and so he asked if I would pick that up again, and I thought that that was a pretty big thing to say because he usually isn't all that picky about body lotions, but this is something that he really wanted to have again. So the next thing I want to talk to you about will not be a surprise if you've watched my channel, particularly in the last couple of weeks, but this month I have been in love with the excuse me, I think I just said toothpaste, Too Faced Chocolate Bonbons palette. I am wearing a look from it today. This is a look that I actually had not done before. This is completely different. In today's look I used, let's see if I can do this without blinding you, I used Cafe au Lait all over the lid. I used this almond truffle color up here as a transition color. I used a little bit of Bordeaux in the crease, and then I've really been loving this dark truffle color as an outer corner, outer crease V color. And then I also used Divinity down here at the bottom and Satin Sheets for my highlighter. This is just such a fun palette to work with. I know I've talked about it to death this month, but I really, really love it, and it's just been so much fun to try out different looks with it. Okay, so now let's go ahead and get into my lifestyle favorites. And when I was looking over my list of things I wanted to talk to you about, a couple of the items stood out to me as things that were solutions to my first world problems. Definitely first world problems, but they are things that I have found pretty convenient this month, so I thought that I would pass them along to you. So the first thing that I want to talk to you about is a new sour cream product. Actually, this is the same Daisy sour cream that you are familiar with, but now they have it in squeeze tube packaging, which I thought was such a genius idea. So this is a 14-ounce size package, and it comes with a flip top lid, and then you just squeeze the sour cream right out onto whatever food you're putting it on or whatever recipe you're cooking with. Couple things that I really like about this: it eliminates having to use a spoon and stirring it up when you're applying your sour cream, and also I've noticed I don't get that separation between the product and the water that I normally would in the regular containers. So it's got a nice sort of, not necessarily a fine tip, but it's not really wide either, so you get a nice amount when you go to put this on your food. So I've used this on tacos, I've used this on baked potatoes, chili, anything that you would normally put your sour cream on. This is that same flavor that you're familiar with, but it's just in a really nice, convenient packaging now. So I thought that that was kind of fun, and I've really been enjoying it. My next lifestyle favorite is not a new product, but it is a carryover from a childhood favorite, and it is Campbell's Creamy Tomato Soup. It's one of those that that I've just loved ever since I was little, and I still like to keep a can of it on hand. And now it comes in those really convenient microwave tubs. But one of the things that always really bugged me about it is there would be this foil liner on top that you had to peel away before you put it into the microwave. The portion of the lid was always really hard to peel off, and there was no easy way to do it. And no matter how careful I was, every time I would peel that off, eventually it would pop and soup would go everywhere, all over my countertops, all over my cabinets. And that always really bothered me, but I figured it was maybe just a problem that I was having, but apparently not, because Campbell's has now changed their packaging. So I thought it was kind of funny, and I wanted to share with you this month. So they've changed it to where there's an easy peel lid, and it has solved that problem. So if you do enjoy those soups like I do, but you had the same problem with them being messy, I thought I would pass along that they have changed that. So it's made one of my favorite soups a little bit more convenient to eat, and I always appreciate when companies pay attention to detail like that and pay attention to customers' concerns, even though they might be silly ones, because it does make me want to purchase their products again. My final lifestyle favorite is a product that we had to replace this month, so we needed a new toaster oven. Ours died in a couple of ways. The first thing that happened is it started buzzing and making a lot of noise, and then the door got stuck shut. We had this toaster oven for quite a while, so I think we got our use out of it. It was from Cuisinart, but one of the things that we definitely did not like about it is that it had this mechanism where the door had a little bit of a metal hook on it, and it would attach onto that wire shelf inside, so you couldn't open the door without it hooking on there, but inevitably it would always get stuck. It was just really tough to open. That was something that always really bothered us. And then toward the end, we could hardly get it open at all until eventually it just wouldn't open. So I don't know what happened, but it was stuck. But fortunately that coincided with the heating element going out, so it was time for a replacement. So I went on to Amazon and I did some research, and I came across this Breville toaster oven, and we got the mini compact size. I wanted something that was very similar in size to the one that we'd had before, so I checked my dimensions, and this fit that perfectly. We've got very limited counter space in our small kitchen, so I knew I wanted something that didn't have a very large footprint, but I wanted something that was going to fit things that we typically reheat, like full New York style size pizza slices, fish, couple of different pieces of fish and things like that. So this has worked really well for us. I think it's got some nice features. I love the digital display that it has. You can select the number of slices that you're toasting. You can also select your temperature that way, and you can also select the heat that you want to use, the level on your toasting function, so whether you want it 1 through 4. It's got a bagel option, it's got a regular baking option. So it's just been really simple to learn. It wasn't something that you really had to go through the book a lot. It was pretty intuitive and easy to pick up on, but I think what we like most is it doesn't have that door latching mechanism. The door on it is completely separate from the shelving, so it just opens right up, and it cooks very, very evenly. We definitely had some hot spots with our old toaster oven, and things would get burnt at the edges and then not as done in the middle. And what we're finding with this is that bagels, toast, anything that we need to brown or cook in this gets really evenly toasted. So it's worked out really well. If you need something a little bit bigger, I think there were 2 sizes larger, but ours was the smallest, and it's worked out very well for us. So give that a look if it's something that you're interested in. So those are all of my favorites for the month of February. I thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you very soon. Bye-bye.